Hello, I'm Vila Spiderhawk, and I'm going to read an excerpt from Hidden Passages, Tales to Honor the Crones. This book is available for $2.99 at Amazon's Kindle store, at Barnes & Noble's Nook store, and in PDF and other formats at smashwords.com. But the easiest way to get it is to go to my website, www.vilaspiderhawk.com. That's where you'll find all the links to all my books. Don't! A high voice cried in alarm. Don't you trust a word they say. Rabbit raced to the edge of the serpentine snarl. Some of the snakes hissed. She stepped back, twitching her nose. Her eyes went livid with anger or fear. I couldn't tell which. They talk so sweet. They seem so kind. Her chin quivered and her little voice broke. She wrung her paws so piteously that I wanted to hug her. That's how they get you to let down your guard. And then they eat your babes. She keened the accusation and pointed a paw directly at Master Snake. Oh, my babes, she crumbled to the ground, rocking and hugging herself. Lost in her terrible grief, she moaned her babies' names over and over. He watched her, his face turned from me, and then he looked back, slowly, smoothly, and then he smiled. He spoke not a word of comfort or denial. His coldness confused me. He cocked his head. Well, what do you expect? He reasoned. A snake has to eat. He had a point. On both sides, there was an issue of survival. I looked at Snake, then looked at Rabbit, trying to decide. I made my choice. As if we had prearranged it, I leapt into Rabbit's body, and before I knew it, I was hopping away at a speed I'd never known before. Oh, it was sweet being inside her. I loved the feel of her fur on my back. It was warm and soft, and it smelled so good, all green and brown like the forest floor. And with those long ears, I could hear sounds that I didn't know existed. Why, even over the crunching we made, I could hear the insects breathe. And I could feel Rabbit's nose twitching as we escaped, scenting the air for danger, smelling only the rot of leaves. Beneath our paws, and the fragrance of mushrooms growing in the underbrush. I could hear green shoots opening the soil and smell the faint aroma of lettuce growing at the forest's edge. And the speed, oh, I loved the speed as we leapt over twigs and rotting limbs, over spider webs and chipmunk holes. It was amazing, this ability to catapult myself through the air without the slightest difficulty. I wasn't even out of breath. But when we stopped at Rabbit's warren, I was filled with sensations that I did not understand. It seemed as if there were babies growing inside my womb. I could feel them tumbling all over themselves, each in her own little sack. I was giddy with excitement as their little feet kicked, romping in the safety of their watery field. I patted my belly and hummed a lullaby that grandmother had taught me over the years. And then my water broke, and I groaned on waves of searing pain. I gasped and panted, and when the pain let up and clasped my jaw tight when it came again, and as the waves came closer together, as they became one great wave of terrible pain, as I pushed and rested and pushed again, as my babies emerged from me one by one, I heaved and strained and prayed and knew that I would not live through this terrible ordeal. Again, this is from Hidden Passages, Tales to Honor the Crones. This book is available for $2.99 at Amazon's Kindle store, at Barnes & Noble's Nook store, and in PDF and other formats at smashwords.com. But the easiest way to get it is to just go to my website, www.vilaspiderhawk.com. That's where you'll find all the links to all my books.